dive. We're here to unpack complex topics and really arm you with some concise, powerful insights.
That's the goal.
Today, we're diving into something that, well, it touches pretty much every aspect of our lives. Winning.
It's universal, isn't it?
Absolutely. Whether it's, hitting a personal goal, getting that big career move, or pushing a team towards success, we all have that drive.
We do.
So our mission in this deep dive is to explore those core principles of personal victory and then look at how they connect, how they magnify when you bring teamwork into the mix.
Yeah, and we're pulling from some great sources for this. We've got Shiv Khera's You Can Win for that personal mastery angle, really motivational stuff.
Right.
And then for the teamwork side, we're looking at some pretty solid data-backed research showing just how vital teamwork is today. The idea is to bring these together for you.
Okay, let's jump right into Khera's philosophy then. He has that famous line, winners don't do different things, they do things differently. That really sticks with you.
It does.
But how does he say you actually start doing things differently? Because, old habits, ways of thinking, they can be hard to shake.
That's the core question, isn't it? And Khera really emphasizes it's less about some innate talent and more about a deliberate shift in, your whole approach. Attitude is the cornerstone.
Right, attitude, okay.
Yeah, he puts it like this. Your positive action combined with positive thinking results in success. So for him, attitude isn't just like feeling good. It's a strategy.
A strategy. How so?
Well, it's shaped by your environment, your experiences, your education, but you can consciously work on it. It's about training your mind to look for solutions, not just problems.
Okay.
And the payoff, for you personally, maybe a more engaging personality, enjoying life more. For a company, it means higher productivity, better teamwork, better problem solving, even less stress. It really ripples outwards.
So it's an active choice, that shift in perspective, not just passively waiting to feel positive.
Exactly. It's work. And that ties into his point about self-belief, which you mentioned. That quote, if you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you're right. Why is that so fundamental for him?
Yeah, that one's powerful.
It really is. He argues self-esteem is that core internal driver. He says basically, when we feel good, the world looks nice, productivity goes up, and relationships are a lot better. It's your own appraisal of yourself.
Makes sense.
Think about Wilma Rudolph. Doctor said polio meant she'd never walk again. 4 years old.
Wow.
But her mother believed. She persisted. And Wilma won 3 Olympic gold medals in 1960. It wasn't just physical triumph. It was belief turning into reality. It shows how deep self-belief can unlock just, extraordinary things.
That story is just incredible. It really hits home. But I wonder, what does Khera suggest for building that belief when the challenges are maybe less visible? Internal doubts or maybe systemic stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question. Khera would point towards consistent action. And that leads us right into motivation. He uses this analogy. Motivation is like fire. Unless you keep adding fuel, it dies out.
Yeah.
You have to keep feeding it.
Right. It's not a one-time thing.
Exactly. And he makes this really important distinction between inspiration, which is often the thought, and motivation, which is the action.
Ah, okay. Thought versus action.
Precisely.
Yeah.
External things like fear or money, they can motivate for a bit. But internal drivers, pride, achievement, purpose, and purpose now, those are the ones that last.
That makes sense.
He tells this really moving story about a soccer player, usually on the bench, right? But he plays this amazing game in the final.
Okay.
Afterwards, the coach asks him what happened. The player says he believed his father, who was deceased and blind, could finally see him play for the first time.
That's powerful.
Look at that. That deep internal purpose just unlocks something else entirely. Just proves Khera's point. An ounce of action is worth more than a ton of theory. You have to do.
That distinction, inspiration versus motivation, action, it's key. And it makes me think about how success isn't just crossing some finish line, is it? Khera says that too. Success is a process, not a destination.
Yes, absolutely central to his thinking. That's why he talks about setting SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable.
Relevant, time-bound, yeah, the classic framework.
Right. Dreams with a deadline, he calls them. But goals aren't enough on their own. Persistence is critical. You need that grit to push through obstacles.
Like Florence Chadwick, the swimmer.
Exactly. Great example. Her first attempt to swim the Catalina Channel, she gave up just a mile short. Why? Because a thick fog rolled in. She couldn't see the shore. She lost sight of the goal.
Ah, okay. The fog.
2 months later, she tries again. This time, she tells her team basically, don't pull me out unless I actually see land, and she made it. smashed the men's record too.
Incredible. So keep focused on the destination even when you can't see it clearly.
That's the takeaway. Keep that goal in mind. Push through the fog.
But inevitably, we all stumble. We all face setbacks. How does Khera advise dealing with those moments, those obstacles life just throws at you?
Well, Khera is really clear about resilience here. He says the difference between a stumbling block and a stepping stone is how you use it. It's about perspective.
Use the block as a step. I like that.
Exactly. He emphasizes every fall is a test of your hunger, your discipline, your heart. And crucially, you are not defined by your falls. You are defined by your rise.
That's empowering.
It is. It's about seeing challenges not as failures, but as chances. Chances to show your commitment, to bounce back. Stronger, hopefully.
This is all really powerful stuff for individual success, foundational principles. So, the big question then. How do these individual winning mindsets scale up? Because let's be honest, getting a team to win can feel chaotic sometimes.
Oh, yeah, like herding cats, maybe.
Sometimes. So what does the research, the data tell us about the actual tangible benefits of good teamwork? What makes navigating that potential chaos worthwhile?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting because the importance of teamwork now, it's not just a nice idea. It is, like you said, a data-backed fact. The research is compelling.
All right, hit us with the data. What are we talking about?
Okay, first off, teamwork significantly boosts creativity and performance. McKinsey found diverse teams, people with different backgrounds, different views, often see creativity and performance jump by like 35% or more.
35%? That's huge.
It is. And it's not just about output. Think about well-being. Good teamwork helps reduce burnout.
Which is a massive issue right now.
Massive. Affects over half of employees. Sharing the load, distributing work better, it directly counters that. Then there's improved employee morale.
Which connects to productivity, right?
Directly. Poor communication's a top reason for workplace failures. Fix that, get people engaged, and profitability goes up. It's a clear line.
So better collaboration, better communication. It literally pays off. I imagine a lot of listeners are thinking about how to leverage that.
Absolutely. Because that brings us to the next point. It can seriously bump up your bottom line.
Okay. How so?
Well, look at the flip side. Poor teamwork. Businesses lose serious money. Hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, in lost sales.
Wow.
Plus, it causes huge stress for over half of employees, project delays for nearly half, low morale. You see the pattern?
Yeah, it's a downward spiral.
But strong teamwork, it reverses that. Higher goals met, more sales won. And finally, maybe the most crucial long-term benefit. You retain more employees.
Ah, the turnover cost. That's always significant.
Hugely significant, like 1.5 to 2 times an employee's annual salary. But prediction models show collaborative workplaces can cut turnover by nearly 1/3 and boost productivity and revenue per employee by about the same amount.
Okay, those numbers are hard to ignore. So given all that, how do businesses, or really any group, actually upgrade their teamwork? What are the practical steps?
Right. It's not just magic. There are strategies.
Yeah.
First, you've got to clarify roles.
Know who does what.
Exactly. And interestingly, Gallup found that the team's awareness of their individual strengths is actually more important than the specific mix of strengths they have.
Awareness is key.
Yeah. When people focus on what they do well, engagement shoots up like 6 times higher, and teams become about 12.5% more productive. But this clarity, it has to come from the top. As one CEO said, an organization sucks up the behaviors of the leader.
That rings true. Leadership sets the tone. What else?
Second, communicate every single day. And this isn't just about scheduled meetings.
Right. It's ongoing?
It's an ongoing conversation, using everything, Slack, video calls, email, even just talking face-to-face when possible. Consistency and clarity are vital.
Makes sense. And the third thing?
Celebrate together. This one gets missed a lot. Teams focus on the grind, the goals.
And forget to acknowledge the wins along the way.
Exactly. Recognizing individual contributions that help the team succeed, promotions, bonuses, even just public praise. It's so important for morale, for keeping that performance high.
And we've seen real-world examples of companies doing this effectively, like His Smile, the oral care brand.
Oh, absolutely. Great example. The founders, Nick Mirkovich and Alex Tomek, they needed an R&D team but didn't have deep experience there themselves.
Right? What did they do?
Instead of just hiring PhDs, they prioritized character over everything. They promoted people from within from totally different departments, like someone from customer service became head of product. A warehouse worker became head of supply.
Wow, that takes guts. Character over credentials.
It does. But that focus on internal talent, on character, on collaboration across functions, it directly fueled their brand transformation, put them in the big leagues.
That's impressive. And then there's a Lumex, Kiran Sinha's company. Another good case study, right?
Definitely. Kiran Sinha manages this balancing act, constantly fundraising, while also leading her team with this really strong long-term vision.
What's her approach?
It's not about avoiding failure. It's about framing everything, even setbacks, as a chance to learn.
The learning mindset again.
Exactly. It builds a team that, as she puts it, wants to win. They want to be part of something impactful. They want to make progress. Her storytelling, framing challenges as growth, that builds real collective resilience. Purpose.
You know, what really strikes me here is how well Khera's individual principles, that stuff about mindset, persistence, attitude, how they just naturally feed into making teams work better.
That's the perfect connection.
Yeah.
It's precisely right.
It's like the personal stuff is the foundation for the collective power.
Absolutely. Think about it. Khera emphasizes strong character, integrity, self-discipline, a positive attitude. Aren't those exactly the things you need in a great teammate?
Yeah, completely.
When individuals bring that internal drive, that discipline, that focus on solutions Khera talks about, they become huge assets to the team. And that principle he mentions, giving more than you get.
Yeah.
That's pure teamwork fuel.
Right. It builds trust and mutual support.
Exactly. That personal commitment to being your best actually elevates the whole group.
It's funny you mentioned winning. There's actually another book out there called You Can't Win, Totally Different Thing, by Jack Black. No, not the actor. An autobiography of a burglar from way back.
Oh, really? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, it's just a stark contrast. Kind of highlights how important that clarity of purpose Khera talks about really is. What does winning even mean to you?
That's a really interesting point. It underlines how intention shapes everything, doesn't it?
Right.
Individually and as a team. Which, speaking of sharing knowledge and sources,
Uh-huh.
we often summarize ideas here, right? From books like Khera's. There's actually a whole discussion online, like on Reddit, about summarizing books, copyright, fair use, all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the general take seems to be that summarizing in your own words, giving proper credit, sharing the core ideas to spark interest like we aim to do in these deep dives, that's generally seen as okay. It's about sharing knowledge responsibly, encouraging people to check out the original source themselves.
Right. It's about discussion and learning, not replacing the original work. Good point.
Exactly. It's in the spirit of sharing insights.
Okay, so wrapping this up then, it feels like whether you're aiming for a personal win, driving your career, or trying to get a team across the finish line, success really comes down to this powerful blend. It's internal principles meeting effective collaboration.
Beautifully put. It's that synergy. And maybe here's a final thought for you, the listener, to take away from this deep dive.
Right.
Think about deliberately applying that core idea. Winners do things differently. Not just your own actions, but also to how you interact within your teams. How could that shift things? How could focusing on both your personal drive and collective action unlock a new level of achievement? What specific insight from today stands out to you as something you can apply, maybe even starting today, in your world?